Hi, Robin Blake here from the Atlantic Elite team, brokered by Virtual Properties Realty. Today, we have a special guest, someone who specializes in getting you through the first steps in the home buying process and overall financial health. Stay tuned to find out how Varney Jallah, CEO of Structured Credit Solutions, will help you structure your credit for success. Varney, a successful credit repair expert with over 10 years experience working at a major Wall Street firm, authors everything that you need to know about your credit rating in one informative, easy to follow book, The Not So Secret Guide to Boost Your Credit Score. Please give a warm welcome to Varney Jallah.
Robin, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us today, and thank you for writing this book. It was awesome. You know, Varney, today, as a realtor, we're living in one of the best times to purchase property. But I noticed, in addition to the hurdles that some clients have to face when they're looking for down payment assistance, credit is the next biggest obstacle. Now, we found ways to overcome the down payment obstacle. There's down payment resources that's available. You can borrow from friends and family to a certain extent. But the credit, we shouldn't borrow a credit score from anybody. So can you give us an overview of the importance of credit?
Great question, Robin. As you all know, for all the major milestones that we have to hit in our adult lives, we're going to have to use credit in some type of shape or form. For example, you're purchasing a home, you have to get approved for a mortgage. Your credit is going to be a determining factor. You want to purchase a vehicle. The bank is going to use your credit again to determine if they're going to lend you, give you an auto loan. You go apply for a job. Some jobs are now leaning more towards that to determine if they're going to give you that position. So for every milestones in our adult lives, credit is going to be used in some type of shape or form.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. I noticed that when people do fill out for jobs and all various aspects of their life, credit does play a big, important part of that. But can you name a few credit myths that people tend to talk about?
Oh man, yeah. So now this is something that I see often, especially in my field. A lot of people will simply think like, hey, if I'm paying my bills on time, I'm gonna have good credit. That's not true. So that is actually one of the main myths that I see all the time. Simply paying your bills on time is only 35% of your scores, which is the biggest factor in how your scores are calculated, which is in that factor, 35% of your scores. There's actually 192 points in that piece of it. So a lot of people simply think like, hey, if I just pay my bills on time, I should have good credit, which is not true. Okay, there's other factors you have to factor in there. Your utilization, which is 30% of your scores. In that particular category, that you have 165 points in that category. Okay, then you have to determine your credit age. Okay, your credit age is 15% of your scores. Okay, then you have to factor in your credit mix as well. Then you also have to factor in inquiries as well. So a lot of people think simply just paying your bills on time, your credit score is going to be good. That's not true. You have to make sure that you hit each one of those different factors and those different points.
Wow, that's really interesting. That's good, yeah. So, but as we all know, though, life can sometimes take us through some changes which can negatively affect our credit score. So, can you explain what credit repair is and how your company can help people?
Oh, great question, Robin. So, as far as credit repair is simply, there's actually a law called the FCRA law. Okay, so a lot of people don't know about that law. The FCRA law is simply a consumer law that protects the consumer. Okay, so that's law is simply saying that everything on your credit report has to be 100% accurate. Okay, which a lot of people don't know. Right. A lot of people simply just don't check their credit scores. Simply just don't check their credit scores, or they simply just don't check their credit report. Okay, so I look at a few hundred credit reports a month. And majority of those reports on there, they simply have some type of error. Okay, an error can be something as simple as the account balance is wrong. It can be something as simple as they're outside of the statute of limitation. Now, the federal statute of limitation states that a negative item can stay on your credit report for 7 years, 180 days, from the last reporting date. Okay, so you'll be surprised, Robin. I'll look at some credit reports that will have that negative items on there that's 8 years old, 9 years old. And simply clients, consumers are simply just not checking their credit report. Now those negative items that's on there that's outside of the statute of limitations can actually be hurting their credit report. Talking about 60 or 90 points just from a negative item being on there that's not supposed to be on there.
Wow, you're dropping some jewels today. I hope people have their pen and paper. This is great stuff. Yes. Wow. What prompted you to write a book, though, and to start a credit repair company in the first place?
Oh man, my mission was, I actually started off by helping my friends and family. Then from there I started doing some research, and I was like, man, this is not being taught in our household. It's not being taught in our schools, and it's simply, these are the tools that we need to be successful in life. So after helping my friends and family, from there I pretty much decided to, what can I do to be able to reach more people? Okay, simply I cannot do it by myself. So then from there, that prompted me to, let me go ahead and write a book, get this information out there. Okay, because it seemed like, and that's the reason why I titled my book The Not So Secret Guide. It seemed like understanding credit, on how credit works, is like a big secret. Okay, so that right there pretty much prompted me, okay, let me get this information out there. This will actually allow me to be able to help more people. Then from there, I started getting a lot of requests. Hey, can you help me do this? Can you help me do that? I said, hey, you know what? Let me just, go ahead and open up my own firm so I can be able to reach and help more people.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I know I appreciate it, and I'm recommending your book to others, and hopefully they'll get as much value out of it as I have so far. But I hear a lot. You're welcome. But I hear a lot about boosting your credit. Why is it even important for people to be aware of how to boost their credit?
Yeah. So as far as boosting your credit, and again, this is something that I pride myself on, and I structure my program and my business around this. Okay, so again, simply just knowing what to do, when to do it. So with my program, I want to say about 85% of my program is based on education.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, so 85% of my program is based on education, because I would hate for someone to come and work directly with me, then 6 months later, if I don't educate them and teach them, the ins and outs of my credit, 6 months later, more than likely they're going to come back, and they'll have to come back again because, again, I did not teach them. Now they're out there on their own. Excuse me. Now they're out there on their own. They don't understand, hey, you know what, I can't max out my credit cards. Hey, I can't close out my credit cards. Hey, I have to make sure I have to, keep my utilization under a certain percentage. So with my program, I make sure that I'm constantly pounding and drilling that into my clients, because once they leave, they'll understand, okay, this is what I have to do to make sure that I protect my credit now that I was able to improve it.
Wow, that's pretty awesome. It sounds like you're doing a great job. And I almost hate to ask you what are 3 practical tips that people can take away today, because you already gave us so much information. But do you have 3 practical tips that people can take away today just to improve their current credit standing?
Yeah, absolutely. So here, this pretty much goes back to some credit myths as well. So a lot of people think like, hey, listen, as long as I keep my utilization at 30%, I'm fine. That's absolutely false. You're simply paying your credit card balance down to 30%. You're leaving tons and tons of points on the table. Ideally, based on the FICO, how their algorithm is set up, you want to keep that utilization between 1 to 7%. Okay, so you want to make sure you keep it between 1 to 7%. Okay, another tip number 2. Okay, you want to make sure that you're paying your credit card balance down before the reported date. Okay.
Oh.
So with your credit card company, you have your reporting date. I think some companies might call it your statement date. They might call it, I'm pretty sure that they have some other names for it. So there's 2 important dates when it comes down to this. Your reporting date, okay, is used to calculate your credit score. So whatever balance that you have after that reporting date is what the credit card companies send off to the credit bureaus to calculate your credit scores.
Oh.
Okay. Whatever balance that you have after your due date is what the banks would use to calculate how much interest they're going to charge you.
Wow.
Okay. So, so if you can figure out that piece of it, again, in order for you to be able to find out this information, simply call up your credit card company. Say, hey, listen, what day of the month do you guys report to the credit bureaus? I know some of them might, for example, let's just say they say, hey, the 15th of the month is when we report to the credit bureau. You want to make sure that you have your credit card balance down. Again, between that 1 to 7%. You want to make sure you have that credit card balance within 1 to 7% by the 13th, so at least that way everything can report. Then after that, then from there, the next date you want to worry about would be your due date. Just make sure your balance is paid off by your due date. Now you don't have to worry about paying interest on the credit cards.
Wow, that's amazing. Wow, this was great. This is really, really great. But we live in a fast-paced world, and people are sometimes looking for overnight results. What's a reasonable time frame people should expect to see results from managing their credit correctly?
Every client file would be different. Okay. I work with clients where I was able to, improve their file within 90 days. But I work with clients that I was able to improve their files in 6 months. It can be 9 months. It can be a year. It can be even longer. So to answer your question, Robin, all depends on the client's credit profile.
Oh, okay. So that's pretty reasonable. But what I really enjoyed about your book, the Not So Secret Guide to Boost Your Credit Score, is the way the chapters educate you along as it guided you in steps to repay your credit. So that was really amazing to me. I especially like the 5 C's of credit, but they're going to have to buy the book and really get that insight. Yeah, we're not going to give all of the secrets away today. So in closing, can you tell us why we should use your service and how the people can contact you?
You guys can actually reach me on my social media page, Structure Credit. Okay. They can actually find me on Facebook as well under my business face, which is Structure Credit Solutions. On there, they can send us an email if they're interested. At support at Total Structure Solutions. They can reach me there.
Oh, okay. So that's great contact information. And so just I know why they should use your service. Just remind us.
All right. So another thing too, another great piece about my program and my service, again, as I explained to you, I built the foundation on education. Okay. I'm not your typical credit repair company. Is not a cookie cutter credit repair company where one size fits all. Again, each individual going to have their own individual game plan. Okay, so a game plan for this individual is not going to work for this individual. So that's the reason why I'm not a cookie cutter credit repair company. Okay, another great thing about working with me is I have a money back guarantee with my program.
Wow.
Okay, so I have a warranty on my program. If you work with me for a certain amount of months, if your scores don't increase, your scores don't improve, simply come back to us and say, hey, Varney, I'm going to use my warranty. I'll give you a full refund.
Wow. This was great. You dropped so many jewels today. I can't thank you enough for sharing. So now I don't feel like there are obstacles with clients anymore. I definitely have someone to send them to. So thank you again for your time today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Robin, for having me.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The road to home ownership begins with where you stand financially, and your credit score plays a big part. We just found that out today. So for beginning the process, you may want to buy the Not So Secret Guide to Boost Your Credit Score, and then reach out to Varney. He and his team would be happy to answer any questions that you may have. And remember, if you're buying and selling in Gwinnett County, give the Atlantic Elite team a call today. We would love to help you with your next move. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification icon so you'll stay in the know of when we release our next video. As a bonus, click the link below to get your free moving checklist. I have a lady who said she didn't even check her credit score in like 3 or 4 years. And when she did check it, it was so low, and then she went into panic mode. And I'm like, there's resources out here that can help you, so I'm waiting for her to come down off of her high. But I mean, those tips that you shared today, that alone should get her like on the road to begin with her recovery. And then if she needs some extra help, because these interest rates are not going to stay low forever, right?
I know.
Kind of get on the ball so they can take advantage of it,
Exactly. Yeah. So another thing too is if they reach out to me, I do what they call a free credit analysis form.
Oh, okay.
So if before they get off the call with me, I give them a game plan, pretty much saying, hey, these are things that you have to do. You have to pay down your credit card balance, and I guarantee you, majority of the credit reports that I look at, I'm about to call you Ms. Robin, sorry, Robin. The majority of the files that I look at, a lot of the clients is simply they just don't have like no credit cards, they don't have no revolving accounts, which is 65% of their scores.
Wow.
Which can be something as simple as simply just paying down your credit card balance under 10%. That way, and then that right there is where I usually see majority of my clients' scores increase once they can bring their credit card balance down, or once they can start adding something as simple as a secure card. And I have a list of different credit boost tools that I use. And on average, my clients usually see their scores increase 60 to 90 points once they can add these credit tools. Yeah.
So what about the 30% ratio? We shouldn't shoot for have a 30% utilization. It really should be 10%. That's the key.
Under 10%.
Wow, they don't even hardly want you to use these credit cards then, right?
Yeah, but again, that right there is when again, knowing your reporting date versus your due date. So if you have a credit card, let's say you have a credit card for $1,000, right? You can like the most you can put on that credit card would be $100. Okay?
Right.
But if you do go over that $100, just know, okay, by the 15th of the month. So let's say you use a credit card up to $500. Now you have 50%. But you know the reporting date is the 15th of the month. So by the 13th, simply just pay off the credit card balance, get it down to, let's say, $10, right? So now you're at 1%. Okay. Then let the credit card company report you have a $10 balance, which is 1%, to the credit bureaus. And guess what? Once the 16th, 17th hit again, you can pretty much use that card as much as you want. You just have to be conscious of the reporting date.
Oh my goodness, that's the biggest secret. Like they don't even want us to know that. What?
Yeah, exactly. And just know by the due date, if you pay off that balance, now you don't have to worry about paying the interest on it. And that's another thing too, is a lot of us people, we're afraid of credit cards. Like, oh, I don't want to use credit card. Credit card is the devil. And this is what I usually tell people. Credit card is like a hammer. You can use a hammer to build you a house, build you something nice, but you can use that hammer to destroy something. So if you misuse your credit cards, or you maxing out your credit cards, you're missing payments on it, of course you're gonna ruin your credit score and your credit report. But if you know the right and proper way to use that credit card, you can definitely build a great credit score.
Wow, that's great. Wow, I feel like I learned something. So that's amazing. You didn't know that? Nice. Oh, thank you so much for sharing. I hope your book sells out and you get tons of this. We're gonna try to push it.
I appreciate you guys so much.
Yeah, man.
My pleasure. Thanks.
All right, thanks a lot, guys.
All right, man.
Bye-bye.